checking each page and looking for possible CSS tweaks that might be needed, looking for anything that our client might have changed on the old site while we were working on the new site, working for anything that might need to be adjusted. So it's a good match and we're all done. Go back to the old site, make another Akiba backup there. Last time before migration. Joomla 1.5. Be sure you have very up-to-date backups of both the old and the new website, and then we're ready to begin moving files around to launch the site. I'm going back into my file manager. And before I move any files around, I'm going to go into the administrator folder, the original site, open up Components, Akiba, Backup, and find that most recent backup and download that. Then I'll do the same thing for the new Joomla 3 site so that I have backups and I have them off-site. We're going to throw away some files, and we want to make sure that we have these backup files on our own hard drive or stored somewhere else in the cloud, or however you want to deal with that. But don't count on your backup files that are in the files that you are going to be moving and getting rid of. To my root directory for my main domain, and I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm calling it Archive. I'm going to grab all of the folders in this root directory and then go back and deselect my Google Webmaster Tool file and my archive folder that's empty that I just made, and my subdomain directory. And everything else is associated with the Joomla 1.5 site, and I'm going to drag it and drop it into the archive folder. Next, I can open up the subdomain of the new site and grab all of those files. Click on the first, scroll down, shift-click on the last one, and I'm going to move those files. Now I'm just moving them up one directory. So instead of being in this nested subdirectory, I'm moving them up to the main directory. If your site was just out there at the main domain and your subdirectory for development purposes was just one layer in, then you would be going back to the public HTML folder for the final location of those files. I was already in a subdomain. This was a subdomain. So I'm moving the files back up to the top. Go up one level, and here I should see all of my Joomla 3 files, and that's what should be running. So if I go to the website for the real domain, not the development site, and load that, well, it's a little hard to tell the difference because we've done such a good job of migrating and having and keeping the same look and feel. Let's just prove that this is, in fact, Joomla 3 and not the old Joomla 1.5. Go to the back end. That's definitely a Joomla 3 login screen. And this is definitely a Joomla 3 location on the back. At this point, I'd want to go check again that everything still worked as expected. Moving from page to page, seeing that the URLs are correct, seeing that everything is working correctly. There's one last thing I want to do back in the global configuration of the new website, and that is to check on the specifications for the log files and the temp files. So the path to the log folder here had the new location in there. And it should just be public HTML BBWA, Bentonville Buddy Walk. And we'll save that. The path to the temp folder is under server. And again, that was how we originally installed it in its own subdomain. It's now in the single domain, or in your case, you would probably be back to the public HTML/TMP. So we've saved those configurations so that things will work going forward. Retest the site. Check back with your clients. Make sure everything is as it should be. If you needed to access the old site for any reason, to compare or look at something from the old site, you can access that by inserting that archive directory. It's still live. We can go in and grab a new article that they made that didn't somehow get migrated. We can check on settings or harvest any donations or past registrations or anything from the old site. When you're really good to go, you're going back to the file manager and take that archive file and delete it. Clean that out. Any security issues that related to Joomla 1.5 have gone away. To be totally thorough about this, I'd go back into my cPanel, to my SQL databases, and at that point I could delete the database as well. A brand new old site, converted, migrated to Joomla 3.